Celebration, baby!
Alright folks, welcome back to the Boys Again YouTube channel. It seemed pretty appropriate to play that goal after recent events, but we're here to talk about the news that Idah has signed a permanent deal with Celtic, 5-year contract worth up to £9.5 million, including add-ons after a successful loan spell in the last campaign. I'm joined by Nathan and Alistair. How you doing, Nathan?
I'm alright, how are you?
Aye, good. Alistair?
I'm alright, thanks.
Now, I know it's a Celtic podcast, right? And I completely understand. I don't like talking about the other side, but I think we may as well have a wee word about them, you know. But so Rangers at the Champions League. Nathan, what do you think about
Um, I'm glad. I do think the decision with the red card.
that? Oh, it's perfectly fine.
Perfectly fine. He got away with 2 before it, so.
But that's 25 million that they were banking on, and they don't have it. So unlucky Rangers.
Alistair?
I was absolutely gutted for them. And yes, that is sarcasm.
Don't say it.
Yes, I was absolutely gutted for them. But let's say it for them. Let's all stand with the Ukrainian brothers, and God bless Ukraine and every one of them. So.
Clever Ukraine.
This is definitely getting clipped at the end of the season. But anyway. But we're here to discuss obviously the big news that broke earlier on Wednesday night that Idah finally, after a long summer pursuit, has finally became a Celtic player. Nathan, what's your overall opinions on the signing? And are you happy you've got it finally got it across the line?
I think a lot of it was taken away from what it actually could have been, if that makes sense, because we've waited that long that we're sort of expecting it. Obviously, I'm happy to get him through the door, but still no improvement from last season, man. I'm happy we've got him, but I'm not elated like I was when Jota came in. When Jota came in, I was buzzing. Idah, I'm a bit like, well, we should have got him a month ago.
Alistair, I think Nathan's 100% correct. I think the celebratory value has evaporated, to be honest.
Yeah, well,
if we signed him in the 1st of June, or maybe even the middle of June, then we'd be absolutely elated. I still think I'm personally buzzing we've got him close. I think he'll do a brilliant job. I think Nathan is as well. But I think we'd be absolutely jumping for the rooftops if we signed him in the middle of June. I just don't think it's that above yet.
I'm relieved that we've got him because it went on that long. I really did start to hear my doubts. But obviously I'm buzzing, and because I think Rodgers was very smart actually putting Mikey Johnson on up front. I think he needs to come in this week, and that's how I'm getting it done. And honestly, I think there will be a bit of calculation in there. Can't prove it, but that's just what I think.
Well, who else could they have put on up front? Because Jan came on literally the minute after, so there was nobody else there. Not much of a point in proof. Hugo had to come off.
I think it sent a message, I think, more than anything, that
he sent a message, look what I'm left with to put on. That's the thing.
And I think the reason why it's accelerated so quickly for me as well, because of the Kyogo with his shoulder and stuff like that. Therefore, shit, we need to get somebody in here. Obviously,
Yeah,
I was going to come in. But Nathan, what's your opinions on the fee? Obviously, there's a lot of talk about the fee and it's too much. Personally, I think fans are getting too wrapped up in fees these days. At the end of the day, I checked my Royal Bank of Scotland this morning, and £9.5 million had not come out of my account. Seriously. So I think we complain about the board being tight, but then you've got fans who are like, what are we spending that amount of money on this player and that player? We should have went for X, Y, and Z. We know what we're going to get with Idah. He's come in. and we know he's going to come in and he's going to give his all. He's happy up here. He likes Rodgers. So what is the big concern? I don't get it personally.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's just me that thinks this, right, but people need to realise Idah's young. Like, there's still a lot of resale value in Idah. You know, at what age is he? 23, 24? Played in the Premier League,
Yeah,
was linked with Man United a few years ago. You know, like he's an Irish international, scored big goals for Ireland. But I don't really see anything wrong with the fee in general. But you know, I told you, I think when the cup final ended, they want up to 10 million for him.
And it's
And then
nearly
the
come up
fact
now.
that Celtic came in with an offer for 4 million at the
Was
start, man,
insulting.
that's insulting. So at the end of the day, the fee doesn't matter. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Could we have gotten for less if we pushed sooner? Aye, but that's what it is.
And Alistair, Norwich are well within their rights. Every player's got their value, from Mbappe to your lower players. Every player's got their value. And if Norwich think Adam Idah's worth 9.5 million, then he's worth 9.5 million. So for me, is we're getting a striker in who knows what he's doing. He knows the business, and
well,
I'm not a major bank overdraft. So we're all right.
well, I don't know what you think, but a 23-year-old and 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 the and the championship is that's the going rate.
Aye.
I mean, I'm not being funny. Ivan Tony went to Brentford. He was older than Ida.
There's still a
No
player in
matter.
there.
Ah,
There's still a player in there with Adam Idah. He showed that when he come
I
up. I
know,
think.
but the point I'm making is about the fee. The
Aye,
fee doesn't bother me
it
because at
shouldn't
the end
bother
of the day, you
anybody.
pay for good players, short corner.
And and that's the thing. We're not paying for it. Nathan, you're not paying for it. And Alistair, you're not paying for it. There's see it, and I've heard this thing about he's not proven in Europe. We're not going. See for 9 million, Celtic are not going to get a European proven striker. But if you still think that, right, and this is me just my honest personal opinion. If you honestly think in 2024 that Celtic are going to get a proven European striker for 9 odd million, you're onto plums.
Mm.
We don't live
Well,
in
well,
2004 anymore.
we've never had a European. We've never bought in a European class striker. They've
Aye,
developed into European class strikers. That's what Celtic do.
aye,
I mean, Larson signed at 25. He was developed into a European striker, but he never come in as a European class striker.
aye. And Nathan, I'm going to go into the alternative because I've heard his name mentioned umpteen times. I'm a big fan of him, as a lot of you know. But Bojan Miovski is away to Girona. There is no way he's even if Celtic put a bid in that he would have came to us over Girona. I can't see that. Girona are a
I know that's
Champions League
that.
squad like Celtic, but they're also playing the La Liga. He's not going to go to another Scottish team. I don't see it. Top
Yeah,
class
but
player, and I think he's a brilliant player. But I'd rather bring in somebody who we know came here last season and done a job, and see if it doesn't work out, which I highly doubt it will not work out. Then that's what happens at a football club. If you look at, and this is what I would say, end after the finance argument. We sell Haksabanovic, and we sell other players. O was worth £4 million. Now, people
we're
need to
probably
remember,
worth way less. We got 4 million from him.
aye,
But
people need to remember, it's not about how much we spend on a player. We've still got a positive net profit. We've only spent, in terms of you talk about net profit, Celtic have only spent about £2-3 million.
Yeah, yeah, I was
So,
going to say that.
Alistair, I think if people are so bunged up about the fee, you need to calm down.
Put,
Because at,
put,
at that point, Celtic can't win.
put this in perspective, right? We got we got 4.5 for O, 3 for Boston Lowell. There, they're £7.5 million.
Aye.
So effectively, you've paid £2 million for Adam Idah.
Exactly. And then if we win a
Do
game,
the
and
math.
this is the thing, this is what the way I think the board should be thinking. If we do well in the Champions League, if we win a game in the Champions League, two million,
£1 million.
it's 2 million. I think is it 4 million or 2 million? I can't
Aye,
remember.
4 million. The money's went up.
4 million. 4 million quid if we win a game in the Champions League.
2 games pay for Idah, 2 wins pay for Idah.
Exactly. And I'm at the point now where like we need to be looking at these. We need to be. If
£8 million couldn't be
it's
a
nothing.
big signing. No in 2024.
Aye, it's absolutely nothing now. And I think we would have gotten for less. As you said, Nathan, if Norwich didn't win for, if Celtic never win with that insulting bid of 4 million quid. See if
If
we
we'd
started the bidding
started
off,
at 6, it would have been
six,
in a dumb site quicker.
aye, we'd have been in a month ago, personally. So I'm glad we've got him over the line. I think he's going to have a big fee. It's going to put pressure on, but I think he's brilliant. I really do. He came in last season.
Hmm.
Well, we do not, and this is the thing. I go back to finance. This is going to be my last point on the financial thing because I don't care. It's not coming out my pocket.
It
It's
will be next season. Because the board don't make it out of your pocket
aye,
one yes.
£40 for a kebab pie.
Aye,
You
probably.
can
Um,
get one.
if we can get one, aye. But you look at it right. See if we didn't bring you that. I do not think we win that. We don't win the league.
Absolutely.
Motherwell, you look at the goals. Also, we sat when we signed them, and I don't think.
I
I've
know we
watched it.
did.
I've watched it back. I don't think.
I
He was
quite
it, man.
actually.
Because we sat when he first signed and all that, and then I remember doing the post-match action Hibs game with you, Nathan. If he doesn't score those 2 goals, we don't win the league. If he doesn't score that goal against Motherwell, Nathan, we don't win the league.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the Scottish Cup goal, even the goal at Ibrox, I think that gets undershadowed because Yang being an idiot. But that's got us 40 million.
Mm.
So in hindsight,
Last
it's nothing.
go at Ibrox. Pardon the fun.
It's nothing, is it?
Well, I mean, big up Paolo Bernardo for 2 of those goals. I think that's mentioned even less.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
nah, there's not. I think we said this when Idah signed the first time. It's not an issue I've got with the player. We said that the first time he signed as well. It's
too
never been
long.
an issue with Idah. It's took too long. It's took too long the first time. It's took too long the second time. The first time it took too long because we waited that late in the window. The second time is just because we were just being tight bastards.
And I think
And then eventually we had to pay.
if we did get the option, I think if that was our main target for that January, if that was our striker, it clearly wasn't, right? Let's be honest. They
It
get a
was
stroke a lot.
probably Miovski. Don't want to
Miovski
annoy you, but it probably was.
or Krivitsgard. See if that Idah was their main target, they could have if they started negotiations at the start of January or even before the window opened, they could have got an option to buy that deal. But because he left it to the last week, 2 weeks, we were scrambling because we needed a striker. Alistair, I want to move away from the financial kind of side of it because it's not coming in my pocket, as I said. As a player, a player side that to be honest, he looks delighted to be here, and I think he settled in really well. I still think there's a lot of come for Adam that, as you said, he's young, and I think
I
there's
think
still a
there's
lot to
a
come.
point everybody's missing. See the amount of Irish jerseys or Irish Celtic fans there is in both sides of the border, whether it be north or south. You'll sell those jerseys, no bother. So you're going to make money off the park.
Aye.
Exactly.
Don't tell Lowell that, or the whole team will get finished.
That's probably how you okayed it, to be fair.
But no, I just think he came in last season, and I think because either like, obviously kind of burst onto the scene for Norwich and stuff like that, really young. I think people forget that. He's still only and,
He's a
and, I,
baby.
and the thing is, right, and I don't, this might sound controversial, but if he was French, we'd be screaming.
That's exactly what Ryan said yesterday.
As a mate of mine said, he said he done more than Edward. I'm not saying Adam he does as good as Edward, but if you actually look at it, he done more than Edward did in his own spell.
I think get double figures in goal contributions.
9 goals in
9,
19 games.
which,
And that's
for
no
half
the
of these.
assists, by the way.
Off
And
the
the thing
bench as
is,
well.
off the bench, and he was never, Kyogo was always the main striker. And that's another thing, I think this is going to help Kyogo massively, because I think when Kyogo's the only striker there, I think Kyogo feels the pressure, and now Kyogo's been a fantastic goal scorer, you don't need to tell me that. But I think at times he does feel the pressure when he's the only striker. So if he's not working, say at the weekend, he's not working, you get somebody else to bring on
Mm.
instead of
Nine
just
and
having
a
one.
9.5 million to me means that Adam Idah will now be Celtic's first choice striker
That's
because
what
he
I was
has
thinking.
to be. He has to be.
See, but the way I look at it, right, with strikers these days, right, I've heard that the thing about second choice, you don't have a first. You have two strikers who are going to contribute.
Ida's better to bring off the bench.
Either might start some games. And that's what should be happening. Either starts some few games, then Kyogo starts a few games, and then if we're playing it against a physical team, Kyogo's
St. Mirren,
struggling, you
very
bring either
obvious.
on. Aye,
Aye.
so the second striker, you do have second and third choice strikers.
We'll
I
go
don't
with
think
it.
I don't. I think it's a bit redundant now. I don't think you have strikers who contribute different things.
Well, I mean, if that was going to be a problem, why would Ida come back for 9.5 million? Because it was, I think Rogers rotated them perfectly well when Ida was here.
Exactly, and they
During that kind
contributed
of season.
contributed
Yeah.
I'll be
both of them.
honest, I don't think Roger sees Kyogo as a striker. I don't.
I disagree with that.
There
Because
you go.
I think Kyogo's been excellent at the start of the season, obviously.
I'm not having a go at Kyogo. It's just an observation. I mean, how many times do you see Kyogo drop him into the number 10 role?
I think his movements, as Nathan said, he's started the season really sharp. I just think he's missing that bit of confidence.
Mm-hmm.
That
Get
we
that in the
probably un,
pot.
under Ange maybe at the start of last season, he was just burying goals for fun. Like, and I think he needs one. Hard the pun. He needs one to get off his backside.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I,
So,
th- I do think Kyogo's adapted really well to Rodgers, because that was the
he
one
looks
maybe
sharp as a
criticism.
tack. I'll give you that. It just needs a break.
Aye, I think the criticism last season was, does he suit? Well, I think he does suit it. I just think he needs to add that final bit. Nathan, I'm going to. This is probably the last kind of bit on Ida. What, like, do you think that obviously 9 million, 9.5 million pound or whatever it is a hefty fee? Do you think he could honestly pay that back?
Let's just put it this way. If we go into a Champions League campaign, he scores 3 or 4 goals, we probably won't have Ida for that one.
No.
Oh,
So I just,
and I think he'll be here.
Yeah, man. Also.
no, I just think that he's young. He's had Premier League experience, international experience. 9.5 million is nothing.
It's
I think
nothing.
he usually get 15, 20 back when he does. He has a good Champions League campaign and continues his league form. So no, I don't see it being a problem personally.
Also.
I think, to be honest, Josh, uh, I get the impression, like Carter Vickers, like Alistair Johnson, like Adam Idah, I think he'll fall for the place.
Aye.
And I don't think he'll be in a hurry to leave.
No, I don't think so either. Um, I think that's been one thing that's been branded about. Oh, he's not really done much at Norwich. All it takes is a manager just to it just to stick with a manager. I think with Rodgers, he likes Rodgers, not it. I think Rodgers will know that. Adam, he does a Rodgers striker.
And let's be
Powerful.
honest, Josh. Adam Idah is Brendan Rodgers is going to be the best manager that Adam Idah will ever work under.
I,
I
I,
think.
but I think overall to cap off the other stuff, I think it's a good sign. I'm buzzing we've got it over the line. I think it's good he's got to be hopefully in the squad, maybe even starting on Sunday against Hibs. The last thing I want to talk about is obviously the news that there'll be yet again no away fans at Celtic Park for the derby on the 1st of September. This is just getting a bit tiresome now. I
Yeah,
don't
well,
even care at this point. Nathan, what's your overall thoughts on that?
I agree with Celtic. Rangers can't guarantee where they're going to play. The second thing would be, I think it just takes away from the magnitude of the game. Like Celtic v Rangers back, like even when we were younger, we've been talking about years ago when it was fierce. Even when we were younger, you'd look over, you see the away fans, and it's something to give abuse at or something like that. So that just takes away from the game. It's all just a bit, just can't be arsed with it.
Alistair?
to be honest, I'm gutted. The only thing I'm gutted about, there's none of their fans there, as Nathan says, and I'm even gutted that TikTok Todd hasn't got to be there to shout it either.
Um, no,
So,
I think it's normally I'm quite on the thing that both sides need to kind of work out what they're going to do, but I can't really see it. Maybe it's just me looking through green tinted specs, but I can't I can't see what Celtic have put all the protocols in place. I'm going to read the article. It's an article Football Scotland put just a bit in it. It basically says, but with ongoing delays at Ibrox, Rangers have been unable to do the same. The same being the security things that was pre-agreed. It was like fencing or something. I don't know. At a temporary home handing,
correct
Celtic
me if I'm wrong,
Celtics have
Hampton's bigger than Ibrox, how can they no guarantee safety?
um I know, but basically it just said Celtics are scheduled to make the trip to Govan on January 2nd, but have been given get no guarantees that were originally put in place earlier this year. Basically, there's another statement coming out from Rangers basically saying that the same will be happening when we go to Ibrox at the New Year game, which
And
that's
it's all their fault.
it's fully understandable. The one thing I just Nathan I find a bit laughable is Rangers fans now, and I'm not saying all. There's some genuine Rangers fans who are now siding with everything the board have said after the last few days of saying the board's a mess. This same board, right, can't guarantee they're going to be in their own stadium,
Mm.
and now they're trying to side with board advice. It's playing at the gallery in its finest, man.
Mhm.
What I would say is, if you can't guarantee where your home stadium's going to be, then an agreement that the clubs had last year is not an agreement because it's not the same ground. It's pretty simple. Just use your common sense. If Rangers were playing in Ibrox, it wouldn't have this problem, but because they didn't get their team in order on time, that's not Celtic's fault.
And Alistair, say to be honest with you, we've no supporters there. They've no supporters at Celtic Park. I don't expect to get any supporters at Ibrox, and that's the way it should be
Mm.
until something can get sorted out.
Yeah, well, I said this to you earlier, Josh, on the phone when I said the Rio Hattati derby and the Jota derby, I mean, the Dank 4-0 game, two of the happiest derbies I've ever been at. I know away support brings something, but see, to be honest, this isn't our doing.
Nah, Um,
Really, isn't it?
and I don't know. I just think for me, I think when it comes to away occasions now, I just think it's a bit sad. I genuinely think we're getting to a sad state of affairs in Scottish football where we can't guarantee away fans at every match or a decent chunk. If you look at last week against Hibs, they cut our allocations, which is perfectly fine. As long as you and what I thought for Hibs are a basket case, as we know at the moment. I
Yeah.
know we're playing at the weekend, but I've got absolutely no fears. But
Oh,
I just think Hibs cut an allocation, which is totally their prerogative. But to then put a cover over the seats that you could have had money paying
yeah.
punters is embarrassing, Nathan.
I know. I mean, if you look at even teams like Livingston last season, like teams like this would rely on Celtic and Rangers for income. You know, the pies, the drink, everything. Like to just disregard it is a bit stupid, if you ask me. I don't
And
understand it myself.
the thing is with Livingston stuff like that, I'm
They've
not a
got
big
the best record.
I'm not a big fan of like Celtic and Rangers get nearly the whole stadium because it's just basically a home match. That's why I'm glad Livingston are out of the league.
Mm.
But when Hibs are one of the probably biggest clubs in Scotland, probably top four, top five biggest club in Scotland.
Yeah, I would say so.
Mm.
If they can't fill their stadium but then cut out allocation for fan behaviour as they call it, seriously, it's embarrassing. And that doesn't it's not even Celtic, Rangers, you know, away fans should be in grounds.
Yeah.
And if Rangers can't put up a secure thing and then I'm sorry, but then that's fine. That's not our problem. I'm sorry, I just my way on it. It's not our problem. We've done our bit. Rangers can't guarantee where they're going to be playing. They're leaving in their home stadium. So I'm sorry, but it's not our problem. I keep saying it, but that's what man I can add to it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I agree.
To be honest, that's only this is a tool they're using to take
Try
off.
and get fans back
But
inside
they're not in their own stadium. They can't afford players. They they they
in
can't
Europa League.
they they can't even fill Hampden, by the way, for a European game, which is shocking. And and this is it's almost as if the boards went, oh shit, we need to play at the gallery and get them back on side.
Aye, I can fully agree with it. As I said, man, I've not really got much else to say on it, to be honest. It's just, as long as I get to go and see Celtic at Celtic Park, that's
But,
genuinely all
but
I care about.
we'll get called obsessed, of course.
But
Mhm.
anybody else get anything to say on it? Because as I said, I've no really.
Couldn't really give two fucks if you ask me.
There you go. That's
I
that's the
feel
best.
I feel like chatting Kiev.
Aye, that's the best probably way to end that.
Mate,
But
that was funny when you sent that last night.
aye, um, but aye, but just we may as well end off because we're coming up just over a half an hour. But aye, welcome home, Adam. It's took you long enough, but you're
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
But until next time, speak to you later and hail hail.